Prepare yourselves as we dive into the depths of the Mortal Kombat multiverse, bringing you well-known and significant members of the community.
Welcome to the Realm Kast, Earthrealm's ultimate Mortal Kombat podcast, and the official podcast of Mortal Kombat Online. I'm your host, the Mortal Kombat Phantom, and with me as always is my co-host, our Lore Master Yanni. Welcome, Yanni.
Thank you, Phantom. This is the Realm Kast, where every warrior has a story to tell. And today's featured combatant is the inspiration for Raiden, Big Trouble in Little China's lightning actor James Pax himself. Welcome, James.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
James, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you coming on the show. And Big Trouble in Little China is the epitome of Kung Fu action, so that's amazing.
I would say it is the first ever American-made Kung Fu movie, other than the one that Bruce Lee did. But that was shot in Hong Kong. This one was completely done at the 20th Century Fox, just for everybody to know, and was written by an American scriptwriter and directed by John Carpenter. Who else, right?
Mm-hmm. Who else to bring like amazing Hong Kong style cinema to the States? Yeah.
Yes, and they did a big hit, through the years. And I have to say that I have fans now spanning from 10 to 70 years old because the parents show it to the kids and the kids are becoming my fans. I was just at a theater here in LA probably about 3 weeks ago, and for the second time, I'm watching Big Trouble in Little China on big screen. So I was, kind of wearing my sunglasses because I don't want anybody to know I'm there. I just want to see how the young generation today, or once the young generation, but the younger generation today, would perceive this movie. So I say I wanted to see it myself. Why there are so many fans? So I said, in the middle of the crowd, and one crowd recognized me. I'm your big fan. I said, hey, thanks. I like your t-shirt. He was actually wearing a Flintstone t-shirt. And then I was amazed that, the young generation today, the young audience was so into it. And the lines are very funny anyway. So they were giggling throughout the whole movie. And even after, when the movie is over, everybody was clapping their hands, including myself.
It's such an amazing movie, and I'm curious. Before you actually starred in Big Trouble in Little China, let's talk a little bit about your early life and career. Can you kind of share your journey from some of the inspirations that led you to pursue acting, and some of the challenges you might have faced?
Well, that is a long story, but I will make it short. Back in the 80s, I started in the mid 80s as a amateur actor. I was doing off-Broadway plays in New York, and I was already a dancer for a lot of MTV. So it was one of the first Asian-based dancers in MTVs and a lot of TV shows. Because I learned, besides of a Kung Fu expert, I learned to be a dancer. Believe it or not many people believe me, but not many people know that I was a classical pianist since I was 10 years old.
Huh.
I'm just such a multi-talented person, I have to say. And I admit it. I started young. So, but I kind of, like performing in front of the people. I have to say, since I was like 18 or 19, I was already in Santiago, Chile. Believe it or not, this Asian man goes there to visit a friend. And in Santiago, one of my good friends is Coco Legrand, who was the most famous stand-up comedian. And I always carry my guitar. I was always singing. And he said, my God, you sing so well. You ought to be on TV. I said, you think so? He said, yeah, I'll bring you to the TV station, introduce you to some people. Lo and behold, I started playing my guitar. They loved it. They said, oh, you need to be on TV. We are doing the show for 5,000 girls. It's called Mr. Chile. It's not Miss Chile. It's Mr. Chile, So the audience are going to be winning. Anyway, I was brought on stage. The host say, oh, we have a young man from America, James Pax. He's going to sing a couple of songs for you. Nobody clapped their hands because nobody would know the hell who James Pax is. So I came out. I said, my God, I got to do something about this. So I start shaking my leg like Elvis Presley because Elvis at one stage was one of my favorite. I like action. So I
Yeah.
start shaking my leg, and as soon as I strum my guitar, and the whole 20-piece band, can you imagine 20-piece band back in the era?
Oh yeah.
Bloody
Gosh.
nobody. And then the music comes on, and the girls just go, "Wah!" And they went crazy. So I performed 2 songs, my guitar and my band, and I could not hear a sound of what I'm singing. All I hear is the women screaming. After that performance, I couldn't sleep all night. I say, there's something about you, James, that people want to see you on stage. I said, well, maybe it's something that I should pursue. I was just an amateur singer. I was not even an actor yet. So that's how the whole instinct came out of me. From that performance on, I said, maybe I should explore being an a performer. And then I went on, of course, after the college, I studied at NYU. I started taking up jobs as a part-time modeling and a singer, dancer, especially because I was trained for almost 5 years. And then I started doing commercials. All of that came very easily within the first year. And then all of a sudden, I got a good agent. And he set me up for 2 shows. One was General Hospital. The other one was Big Trouble in China. Believe it or not, it was done on the same week. And I got both offers. I asked my agent, and he said, you should go with Big Trouble. I said, why? I'm getting a couple of $100,000 paid a year by General Hospital. Why should I go for something, that's only lasts for maybe 2 months? I can be working, a whole year. He said, no, This is John Carpenter. This could be a groundbreaking film for John Carpenter, and this could open up your career so that you're not a TV actor. You immediately jump into the big screen. So, okay, fine, I take your advice. So lo and behold, I got away, did the movie, and it was very successful. And when it came out, that's when I realized how incredible the movie made. Because when you only read the script, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't that visual. But the movie
Very basic
was
in a
very
way.
visual.
Yeah.
It's about the end product.
Yeah, the end product was all done by John Carpenter's ingenious imaginations, of course. And I celebrate it too today.
Still, yeah. And I mean, leading from there, besides being able to play with Kurt Russell in Big Trouble, you went on to do Invasion USA with Chuck Norris, Matlock with Andy Griffith, the heroic trio, which I watched recently with Michelle Yeoh. And then even you got to be with MacGyver. So many different things. Do you have any favorite roles that you've played besides Lightning throughout your career?
I do. I'm very proud to be in all of these, whether I would just guest star in or I was playing one of them next to Charles Bronson or Chuck Norris or all these fabulous stars, including Michelle Yeoh in the heroic trio in the Hong Kong Big Hit. I have to say some of the roles that stood out for me was with Michelle Yeoh, of course. This movie has become an international cult movie now. And the other one was Tour of Duty. It's on here. I just remember.
All right.
I played a Vietcong doctor who tried to save an American GI's life. And I was only 30, but I was already playing 60, which was very difficult for me. But I think I portrayed it successfully. A lot of the fans all remember this part. Another one is called The First Emperor.
Yes.
I think a lot of Americans have seen it, because it is a docudrama. It was aired on 2006 on Discovery Channel here in the USA. It was very successful because back then China was just opening up to the West. And that's why they were hot on China. And this docudrama came out, and I was playing the lead.
Qin Shi Huang, no?
Yeah, it portrays the first emperor of China, just like Alexander the Great, that I played the Qin Shi Huangdi, the emperor who conquered China. And I think it was a very vivid portrayal of the character, which I'm very proud of. And now it's on YouTube. They only show you 30 minutes of it for free, but it's got 4.5 million hits.
All right.
So I should say I have at least 5 million fans around the world. I'm very proud of those two.
You should be.
Yeah, definitely.
But even MacGyver, I thought I was trying to be straight, but it looked like I was very funny, Eating the potato chips and all of that. I wasn't trying to be funny, but it came out to be very funny, which I thought, gee, that's where the comedy come from. You need to play seriously, and the line itself would just become funny, You don't have to act funny. Be funny just because you're saying the right line.
Yeah.
That's what I realized how to do comedy. You don't always have to, doing all the strange things. But I have to say something groundbreaking is the Nasty Boys for NBC. For the reason that, back in the 80s and early 90s, there were very few roles in TV series as regular for Asian actors.
Uh-huh.
The only other one that came on early on was another famous series. I can't remember. That's the first one, and then it came to mine. And I was very proud to be portraying a narcotic cop trying to catch the bad guys. Was shot in Vegas, actually, with Paul, another fabulous actor who has become very famous now. Dick Wolf produced it, and it was on NBC, lasted for 13 episodes. And I played a series regular, kind of between Don Johnson and Bruce Lee.
Nice.
So I dressed like Don Johnson, but I fight like Bruce Lee and rides a ninja bike. And that was groundbreaking because I was a series regular, although I don't think I got to deserve 2 or 3 episodes specifically on my story. I only got 1.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to talk about that negative thing, but these days now you see Asian faces everywhere. That is good.
Yeah.
I was groundbreaking to be one of the few
Back
Asian
then.
actors to do that. Back
Yeah.
then, I was trying to make a point.
Let's actually talk about that Big Trouble in Little China experience then. How did you actually prepare for the role? What inspired your portrayal of Lightning?
Honestly, it wasn't just as lightning, coming in and out of the scene. But I think the actor has to find his own way of portraying the character. And the presence of an actor is very important. I think there are some people that are born to be a star, and there are some people who are born just to be an actor. Bruce Lee and a few, Marlon Brando, James Dean, these people are born to be stars because the minute they come on the screen, your eyes glued to the screen to watch what they're going to do. And I think I am kind of in between an actor and a star. So I think my presence really says it all. I don't have a line at all. My presence says it all. And the minute I came down from the ceiling, riding on the lightning, just my initial movement,
Yeah.
I know I have to make it dynamic. So everything on that, it's very simple. I designed it very simple, but very clear. I want to make sure that every movement I do is seen clearly so that the artist that's drawing in the lightning wasn't CGI. That back then there was no CGI. He has time to draw in the
Draw it
lightning
all in around your movements. Did you have martial arts experience at the time?
already. Yes, I already had 10 to 3 years of martial art.
Okay.
I started when I was 8, karate, taekwondo, kung fu, then went on to aikido. I studied a lot of martial art, and I studied a lot of weapons.
Okay.
I can enable 10 different traditional weapons from katana to Chinese swords and knife section whips, you name the spears, I've done.
Had it all. All right.
So I think it's really much a personal presence and also my initial movement, especially the first slap on my leg. Pa! It sounded so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I said, man, that guy knows what he's doing because that kid could just wipe somebody's chin off.
Right.
And that really opens up the scene and makes my character very memorable. Then, of course, in the tunnel, I'm chasing after Kurt again. All of that was designed by the director and the screenwriter, and I just carried it out perfectly with the help of the painter. That's why it's so memorable, I think
Oh, yeah. Well, memorable and influential, as we'll get into in just a moment. What was it like actually working with John Carpenter and the rest of the cast?
Right, John was a hard worker. I'm a very quiet person in the beginning of my career because I was new in LA. You know, instead of all the other actors are local, I'm new in LA, so I didn't want to do much speaking. I just wanted to observe. But John was very hardworking. He was constantly, thinking about new ideas, implementing it. He's very much a hands-on director. So I have to say I had great respect for him. And of course, someone with a vision of his were able to make I call it a very mediocre script into a super kung fu movie, which is all out of his imagination, I have to say. Visually, and the way he plays the camera and the way he edited, and the music he produced it himself, which I also congratulate him on that. He is a genius in my mind, among the top 10 directors of my favorite, I have to say.
Obviously, we're talking about how influential it was, and I think this is the perfect time to say, you're mentioning the music, we're talking about the movie itself, the martial arts, everything, and of course, your character. So let's move into Mortal Kombat, because this movie had a huge effect on Mortal Kombat. How do you feel about your character, Lightning, being the inspiration for Raiden, of all people, in Mortal Kombat? What are your thoughts on the actual lasting impact?
It is a great friendship, of how Mortal Kombat took after a Lightning of Big Trouble in Little China. Actually, I met Daniel Pacino only in the last 3 years through a fan's introduction. And the first thing he said, "Do you know you're my idol?" I said, "Oh, really?" Because I'm the man that created action capture on Mortal Kombat. I said, "Oh, really? Oh, that's great." Although I never really played that game, but I know the game. He said, "I took it after you, and all of our Kung Fu took it after you of what you did. And that's what we created this Mortal Kombat. And now it's a franchise." And I do really celebrate what he, because it's always a honor to be respected and emulated by other martial art kung fu expert, I would say he is. For a white man to know so much about Chinese kung fu back in the 80s, my God, that is unheard of. And he was probably one of the few men that knew so much about kung fu back then. I'm so glad that there's so many, Mortal Kombat fans knows that Raiden character was inspired by Lightning. So I always call myself, I'm the granddaddy of Raiden.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually, for anyone listening out there, it's cool because it wasn't just Lightning who inspired Raiden. You also had Lo Pan inspiring Shang Tsung, and then even in the comics with Wind and Rain, who were Raiden's servants. So it's, Fujin and Rain as well. So it's some really cool influences there from Big Trouble in Little China.
Very true.
Before the show, you had mentioned that you had seen the movies. How did it feel seeing these different actors portray basically Lightning, like through the portrayal of Raiden? You had Christopher Lambert in the 1990s movie, and then you also had mentioned that you've seen the most recent Mortal Kombat.
Well, I really think Christopher Lambert was such a good-looking man, and he played a very cool-looking, character. I really liked the first and second edition of it, but I didn't really like the most recent one that just came out, I think, 2 or 3 years ago when I came back to the US. I really think the story makes the movie is not just about the character or the action. But I do like the movie, and I do like the fact that they took up so much of, there's so much similarity between the two, and it is a shame that Mortal Kombat took off and become a franchise, and Big Trouble remained as it is.
Yeah, it really is a
yeah.
shame.
I was saying to myself, since I'm progressed to become a screenwriter and a director myself, I said, somebody, I know that Ralph Johnson has made attempt to make whether a remake or a new Big Trouble, but nothing came out of it, and I can't wait to meet him, to ask him, what stage are you on? You need somebody to write a script and help you to put together a great kung fu stunt team, I'm the man to do it.
He's
I got
ready.
my own stunt team ready to go. And I know everything about the movie. Yeah, and use me as a front man to be your spokesperson of that movie. You could do a lot better just by doing yourself because you weren't on the set like that. You know what I'm saying? But I do have a dream, as I had to say that, all actors should have a dream, just like me. I have a dream that I said 20th Century Fox, which is now belong to Disney, would chase after me and say, James, we'd like you to be the showmaster for Big Trouble in China. And let's make a TV series or a mini series out of it. I said, yes, I'm ready to do that for you.
That'd be so
Because
fun.
I'm totally capable of handling it, under one flag. I can write it and actually direct it or hire other actors to help me. I really think it really deserves its own brand, whether to make a sequel or to make it into a TV series. But I definitely think it can do both easily. With younger actors, and I can be the showrunner. I already have the whole thing planned out.
Got all the work done, so hopefully we see something. We have mentioned, Christopher Lambert, who has actually recently made an appearance in the video game, reprising his movie role. He was in Mortal Kombat 11. Would you ever be open to something similar with making an appearance in Mortal Kombat as a skin or even providing voice lines for Raiden?
Oh, I love to. Mortal Kombat, whether it's on anime or live, I'm ready to do it. I don't know why Mortal Kombat director or the producer don't invite me to be part of it, Let me be very honest with you. I'm not the man who actually bought the rights of Mortal Kombat and did from the first edition till now. I was in his office and I told him who I am. Then I said, you know that I'm the granddaddy of Raiden. Believe it or not, he doesn't even know this. I said, I didn't say it. The fans says it.
Oh,
Millions
yeah.
of fans of for Mortal Kombat know I'm the granddaddy of Raiden. And he rebutted me. He said, oh, no, Raiden is from the character on da. He was telling a different story.
Huh.
I think he just doesn't want to admit it. So I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't say, James, please come on our show. You can play a part.
Oh, yeah, really. Like, that would have been perfect.
You know how these producers, they have their own thoughts. It's way too naive. I love to do it.
Yeah. Would it be safe to say that Raiden is your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
I said because of that connection, but I do have to say all the characters created in it, and I even looked at some of the action in the original Mortal Kombat video version. I really say that it was done very cleverly. These studios and producers to really pay respect to people that originated the thoughts of it, They all want to say things that they are the one that did it just because they paid for it. It's about creativity, and I think all that creativity and thoughts should be respected.
I mean, we've mentioned, the film industry, and we've seen the film industry continue to change over the years. And I'm curious as to how that has actually affected your career too over the years.
I have to say the film industry has really made advance. How do they say it? There's a word for it. On the variety of including all races, which is great, But I still think the Asian stories and the Asian characters need to be developed more into the TV series and the movies. Although there are a lot now, but I think they should be more because if you're looking at the strata, Asians still in the very bottom. But I can't blame it because Asian directors and screenwriters need to raise their power. And I think Asian community, the writers and directors are the one who could take up the responsibility themselves, make something with better quality, with better storylines. Even the one that just came out, Chan is Missing, on Netflix. I thought it was pretty, excuse me, nothing more to say. I think you have so many actors, not just actors, but the producer and director that they write it. They made it look good and the commercial. I think the Asians are still a little short of that. And I really think there need to be unity among the Asians, I mean, the big stuff.
I was just going to say, we did have Everything Everywhere All at Once. What were your thoughts on that movie?
Oh, I think it was a great celebration, but I do reserve my opinion as a director and as a audience as to how good the movie is. But that is besides the point. The point is, it is an Asian subject matter. It's Chinese subject matter especially, and it was done quite well, and it was marketed well. It went over 100 million. And Michelle Yeoh is in it,
Yeah, exactly.
Your co-star.
and she won the first Asian female to win an Academy Award. I said to myself, and I said to the Oscar, why does it take so long for another Asian? Since I think back in the 80s, there's a Vietnamese Asian male actor that won the award for Best Supporting Actor. And that is, 40 years ago,
Right.
back in the 80s. Why does it take another 40 years for you to award it to another Asian actor, or actresses? I think the fairness of this need to be think about and need to be talked about.
Yeah.
If the Asians can be more together and more together in one heart, I think the Asian subject matters would have been dealt much easier and marketed much better. That's all I had to say. And that is my second dream. My goal, as I get older, is to promote Chinese culture. Since I lived in China for 20 years, being half Chinese and half British. But I really believe that the Chinese culture needs to be explored more on movies as an entertainment. And I think Disney did the Ring thing again by Marvel. What's that movie?
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Yeah, a great attempt. I celebrate a great attempt. And I think more of that should come out. And even the recent the Airbender, the anime
Oh, yeah.
that turned
Last
out
Airbender, yep.
into a live action. Yeah, I thought that was quite good too.
Yeah.
That was quite good. And even the One Piece, again, the Japanese anime, that was quite good too.
Yep.
But I think there should be more, a lot more.
We've seen in recent years a lot of focus on, just in the gaming community, we've seen a lot of focus on Japanese games. We've seen Neo and such, and now it seems to be Chinese mythology style games which are coming to the forefront. We have like Black Myth, Wukong, we have Where Winds Meet and such. So it's good to see that, what you're saying is correct in that it would be great to see more, but it's nice to see the industry moving towards that in a certain way as well.
I think definitely the Chinese culture need to be, and the Chinese myth. There are so many wonderful Chinese myths besides of the Monkey King and all of that.
Right.
There's a lot more. I mean, wait till I get my Vortex myth. People are gonna say, "My God, where'd you got the story from?" From the Chinese myth. I recreated some of these wonderful characters. It's called Vortex, but it's about time travel. It's about a group of Chinese monks saving the world, just like Marvel's, but I'm not a Marvel character. I'm not superhuman. I'm just as human. And you can cut a knife to my heart and I will be dead. But they're the one that's going to save the world.
Tell us about Vortex.
Although I can't really say much, but I already told you half the story. It's basically a combination of Chinese monks working with the American Special Task Force to save the world in one sentence. That's what it's all about. And it's action-packed. I would say it's in the genre of John Wick, but certainly I do not copy anybody else. I will have my own genre, which is Vortex. And it will have the gun fu, kung fu, rocket fu, and all
Rocket
that
Fu.
for you.
Okay. All right.
You will see how these human beings can deflect bullets and prevent rocket from killing humans with their traditional Chinese kung fu. And that's what I created. So action lovers, Mortal Kombat lovers, video game lovers, wait till you see Vortex. And again, if you want to see Vortex on video game, tell these video game company to copy it. It will be a hit for sure.
James, do you have any other advice for aspiring actors or aspiring stars who are working their way up?
Just like what Morgan Freeman said to me when I was a producer of my own show called LA What's Happening. I did a Chinese version of Entertainment Tonight, ET, 30 years ago, back in the one of my first guests was Morgan Freeman, and I had a 2-hour interview, in-depth interview about his career. And he said to me, James, do not give up, because the minute you give up is when you fail. If you never give up, you haven't failed. And that's something I would like to pass it on to all the inspiring actors or movie makers. We should take up the spirit of Morgan Freeman, because I would like to pass it on to you. I'm at the age of all 50, but I haven't given up my dream to make my Vortex. So you shouldn't giving up yours, as all dreams will come true if you work hard enough, and you might just get lucky because luck is to come with everything. But now the field is open, for all colors, of artists to make it. We all got a chance, better chance than what I used to have. And I think you just dream of it, but have to work hard. That's what I always say. Hard working with some talent, and you might just make it.
Some advice for aspiring actors or movie makers, straight from Morgan Freeman to James Pax to you. So thank you for sharing that, James. James, before we let you go, we usually like to ask our guests what their favorite finishing move is. But do you have a favorite finishing move from either Mortal Kombat or even Big Trouble in Little China?
For Big Trouble in Little China, I have to say my favorite closing scene was definitely me chasing after Colossal through the tunnel,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Trying to get up through that little rabbit hole to get away. I thought that scene was really a great closer. And especially the ending scene, of lightning, rain, and thunder was chasing each other, fighting against each other, against the wind cones or whatsoever, with all that lightning strikes and the whole, that temple thing collapsed with the neon signs. I thought that was a great closing scene.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I love that scene. I say you won't see another scene like that, and then 20 Buddhas in that shrine, like falling one after the other, like what do you call them? Dominoes.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a feeling that you were going to say that exact scene actually, with the Buddha falling on your head.
Exactly, and the fact of the matter is, all our Buddhas were all real. It wasn't CGI. Every Buddha was probably handcrafted, and it was placed there to be destroyed at the end of the movie. That's the ingenious of the 80s movie, which I really love.
Well, a little fun fact for any listeners because we just mentioned the scene with lightning getting the Buddha fall on his head. If you watch right after, there's another spark, and there's a spark that I believe comes up in Mandarin. I think it says Carpenter.
Yes. Yeah, he did say Carpenter. It says Mu Jiang. Mu Jiang means Carpenter in Chinese.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
I think John wanted to make a mark in the movie, without being too obvious. So that's why she did it. She did it.
It's a cool little Easter egg.
ingeniously.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just like, I think another actor, a British actor, also made his own claim. Some ways appearing in a small part, as cameo walkthrough kind of thing. Wonderful, definitely.
So, James, you have a few events coming up, and fans are going to have the chance to actually meet you in person. Would you kind of like to tell our listeners when and where those are occurring?
James Pax, Lightning from Big Trouble in Little China. I started my touring on Comic-Con since last year. A lot of my fans showed up from all over North America, New Jersey, Los Angeles, Boston, and also in Texas. That was last year. But this year, I kind of expanded to Chicago. And there's a couple of events actually coming up. First one is going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Great.
Nice.
This is very rare, as you know, to be officially invited. I'm probably one of the few. So I'm going to be there on the 25th and 26th of July. between 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., which is Thursday and Friday. So I'm only going to be there Thursday and Friday.
All right.
So that should be a good event. It's my first time in San Diego doing this Comic-Con there. So I expect a good turnout. So fans in the area, make sure you all come. And then right after that, in August 23rd to 25th, I'm going to be back in LA at the Power Morphicon, Power Rangers, which is a gathering of at least 20 Power Rangers from all over the world. And I'm one of the few that is not a Power Ranger. I'm invited because, I'm an action guy.
That's the one at the end of August, right?
That's at the end of August, 23rd to 25th in Los Angeles. On the September the 14th, I'm going to be in Texas. It's a one-day event on Saturday. Horror Oddity Expo, Lubbock, Texas. And I know I have a lot of fans in Texas. Apparently, they love comic movies, so they love my work.
San Diego Comic-Con coming up, Power Morphicon, and the Texas Horror Oddity Expo. So if you're a fan of Big Trouble in Little China, please make sure to go check that out and say hi to James. Let him know we sent you. James, besides that, where can our listeners find you and follow you to stay in touch with everything that you're doing?
Very simple. I have my own fan club. It's called Lightning James Pax Fan Club. I don't know. It's on Facebook. And the other one is just on Instagram, James Pax _Lightning. And you will see a man holding a nunchuck, and that's it's so easy to find. Follow me. We see all my news are there, all my events are there, all my upcoming new movies. I'm getting back into acting. I'm getting a new agent here. I am making a comeback, and I need all the fan support to tell the studios, to tell the video game creators to use James Pax for the voiceover. I'm ready to for you fans. All right. I'll see you all soon in my next Comic-Cons or whatever. LA, San Diego, and Texas, and many more.
And
Maybe
many more.
New York.
So to all of our listeners, thank you very much for stopping by the Realm Kast. And James, thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Seriously, such a pleasure having you on.
Pleasure is mine, and I wish your podcast gets popular every day.
Thank you so much, James.
Thank you to all of our listeners for stopping by the Realm Kast and joining us on this episode. If you enjoyed this interview and would like to further support the show, then consider buying us a coffee, which you can do through the link in the description.
You can find Yanni and myself, Phantom, on all our social media pages at Realm Kast.
Join our official Discord channel hosted on Mortal Kombat Online server, also through the link in the description, where we discuss Mortal Kombat along with our listeners.
Special thanks to Uppercut Editions and Collector's Maze for their continued support. The Realm Kast is the official podcast of Mortal Kombat Online.
Catch up on all episodes of the Realm Kast or join us on our live show, The Soul Stream, on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, MortalKombatOnline.com, or RealmKast.com.